Do you wake up feeling dizzy? That sensation of the room spinning when you turn your head on the pillow. If you're over 45 and suffer from this feeling of morning imbalance, I have surprising news. Turning your head quickly when you wake up might be exactly what's causing your vertigo. This happens for a very specific reason that few doctors explain correctly. And most importantly, there's a simple, natural solution that has already helped thousands of my patients. I'm going to share 5 proven techniques that can eliminate your dizziness. And the first one is so counterintuitive, it will surprise you. According to Mayo Clinic data, approximately 40% of pale play over 60 have experienced some significant episode of vertigo. And this number increases to an impressive 70% when we talk about people over 70. As a medical specialist in balance disorders for over 22 years, I can safely say that waking up with vertigo is not a condition you simply need to accept as part of aging. In fact, when we understand the mechanism behind this problem, we realize that many of the actions we instinctively do in the morning may be drastically worsening the symptoms. Today I'm going to share with you 5 fundamental techniques that are helping my patients eliminate morning vertigo naturally and effectively. I'll start with the most basic approaches and work up to number 1, which has shown surprising results even in cases considered chronic. And no, these aren't complicated exercises or medications with side effects. They're simple techniques you can incorporate into your daily routine. Let's start with the 5th essential technique, controlled nighttime hydration. Many people don't realize this, but nighttime dehydration is one of the most common causes of morning dizziness, especially in people over 50. That's because during sleep, your body continues using fluids for essential functions, and when you wake up dehydrated, blood pressure can suddenly drop, causing that sensation that the room is spinning. I clearly remember Carlos, 61, a retired salesman who came to me desperate after 3 months suffering from severe morning dizziness. "Doctor, I wake up and have to sit on the bed for almost half an hour before I can get up. It's like everything around me is on a carousel," he reported, visibly shaken. After a detailed analysis, we discovered that Carlos had the habit of avoiding drinking water after 6 p.m., so he wouldn't have to get up during the night to go to the bathroom. The science behind this is surprisingly simple. When we don't consume enough fluids before sleeping, blood volume decreases slightly. And when changing position quickly in the morning, your brain doesn't receive adequate oxygenation in the first few seconds, triggering the feeling of imbalance. Additionally, the vestibular system, responsible for balance in the inner ear, is extremely sensitive to small changes in blood viscosity. The solution I implemented with Carlos, which completely transformed his quality of life, was what I called the 3-2-1 protocol. He started drinking 3 glasses of water during dinner, 2 glasses 2 hours before sleeping, and a small 100 milliliters glass next to the bed to drink immediately upon waking, even before sitting up. "Doctor, it seems like magic, but after just 4 days following this protocol, the dizziness decreased drastically," he shared emotionally at our follow-up. It's important to note that this technique should be adapted for people with heart or kidney problems, and water can be replaced with caffeine-free herbal teas like chamomile or lemon balm. I also recommend adding a pinch of sea salt to the last glass before bed to improve water retention in the circulatory system. The transition to our next technique is natural, because it's no use just hydrating correctly if we ignore another fundamental aspect of body balance. 4th item on our list, natural magnesium supplementation before bed. This mineral is often overlooked, but plays a crucial role in the proper functioning of the nervous system and muscles related to balance. Recent statistics show that over 80% of elderly people have some degree of magnesium deficiency, which can significantly amplify vertigo problems, especially that dizzy feeling when turning your head on the pillow. Anna, 72, grandmother of 5 grandchildren, came to my office after suffering a fall due to morning vertigo. "Doctor, I simply turned to turn off the alarm and the world started spinning so hard I fell out of bed. My grandchildren are afraid to visit me because they think I'm becoming disabled," she said with tears in her eyes. After a complete evaluation, we found that Anna had a significant magnesium deficiency, something none of the other doctors had investigated before. Magnesium acts directly on the nerve cells of the vestibular system, located in the inner ear, which functions as the gyroscope of our body. When there's a deficiency of this mineral, the electrical signals that transmit balance information become erratic, like a GPS with a weak signal giving inaccurate information. Additionally, magnesium helps relax the small muscles around the neck and ears, which when tense, can slightly compress the channels responsible for balance. I recommended Anna a dual approach. First, increase consumption of foods naturally rich in magnesium like avocado, dark leafy greens, nuts, and pumpkin seeds. Second, start nighttime supplementation of magnesium bisglycinate, which is the most bioavailable and gentle form for the digestive system. Doctor, it's amazing how something so simple could change my life so much. After 3 weeks, I wake up and can turn my head normally without fear. Aina reported at our follow-up consultation an important tip: always take magnesium before bed, as it also promotes muscle relaxation and improves sleep quality. Start with smaller doses, about 100 milligrams, and gradually increase to 300 milligrams to avoid intestinal discomfort. People with severe kidney problems should consult their doctor before starting any supplementation. This technique works silently during the night, preparing your vestibular system for the most critical moment, waking up. And speaking of waking up, let's now move to our third technique, which directly addresses the moment when most morning vertigo episodes are triggered. Third essential technique, the slow postural transition method. This is a specific protocol for getting out of bed that drastically reduces the incidence of positional vertigo. Most people don't realize it, but the simple act of sitting up abruptly after hours lying down is one of the main triggers for vertigo, especially in people over 50. João 65, a former bus driver, consulted me after abandoning his morning walks due to the constant fear of dizziness. Doctor, I love walking at dawn, but now I'm terrified of getting out of bed. When I get up, I feel like I'm still driving my bus on a road full of curves, he described. Frustrated, Joe's problem was directly related to what we call orthostatic hypotension associated with benign paroxysmal positional vertigo B. To understand it simply, inside your inner ear, there are small calcium carbonate crystals, otoliths, that normally remain fixed in a structure called the during the night. Especially in older people, some of these crystals can break loose and migrate to the semicircular canals, which are like the bubble level that masons use, but in your ear. When you change position quickly, these crystals move like loose pebbles in a shoe, sending wrong movement information to the brain, creating the sensation that everything is spinning. Additionally, when getting up quickly, blood pressure doesn't adjust at the same speed, momentarily reducing cerebral blood flow. The combination of these two factors is what causes that intense vertigo upon waking. I taught Joe the 3rd of March 30 protocol, which consists of: first, upon waking, remain lying down for 3 minutes, breathing deeply. Second, turn slowly to the side in a movement that should take a full 3 seconds. And third, remain sitting on the edge of the bed for 30 seconds before finally standing up. Doctor, it seems too simple to work, but I'm back to walking every morning. My wife says I look 10 years younger, he shared enthusiastically after just 2 weeks following the method. An important detail of the protocol is to keep your gaze fixed on a specific point during each transition of movement, as this helps the brain recalibrate the balance system. I also recommend avoiding looking at cell phone or TV screens in the first few minutes after waking, as rapid eye movement can trigger or worsen vertigo. This method is especially powerful when combined with the next technique, which addresses an aspect often ignored by traditional doctors. Second technique on our list, strategic cervical positioning during sleep. This technique may seem basic, but the position of your neck while sleeping has a direct and often underestimated impact on morning vertigo. Dr. Timothy Haynes, one of the world's leading authorities on balance disorders from Northwestern University, points out that approximately 60% of cases of morning vertigo are related to inadequate head positioning during sleep. I remember Margarita, 68, a former dance teacher, who came to my office saying, "Doctor, I used to dance ballet, and now I can't even get out of bed without feeling like I'm doing an involuntary pirouette." After analyzing her sleeping habits, we discovered that Margarita slept with 3 large pillows, keeping her neck in an extreme flexion position for 8 hours every night. The problem is that this forced position compresses the vertebral arteries that supply blood to the balance centers in the brain. Furthermore, extreme neck flexion can affect the vestibular nerve, which is like the cable that connects your inner ear to your brain, transmitting balance information. When this nerve is compressed or stretched for hours, it can cause symptoms very similar to vertigo upon waking. The solution we implemented was what I call neutral pillow positioning. We replaced Margarita's 3 high pillows with a single medium pillow that keeps the head aligned with the spine, as if she were standing upright but lying down. Additionally, I taught her a simple trick. When lying on her side, Place a small rolled towel under the neck to maintain the natural curve of the cervical spine. Doctor, it's unbelievable. The first night I thought I'd be uncomfortable, but I woke up without that horrible dizziness for the first time in months, Margarita reported excitedly. An additional detail that makes all the difference. Avoid sleeping on your stomach. This position forces you to turn your head to the side for hours, which can trigger or worsen vertigo, especially in people with pre-existing balance problems. For those who have difficulty adapting to a new sleeping position, I recommend a transition pillow, one that's a bit higher than ideal initially, gradually reducing the height every week until reaching the ideal level. This cervical technique works synergistically with all the others we've discussed. But now we're about to reveal the number one technique, which has the power to address the root cause of most cases of morning vertigo. And we've arrived at the most powerful technique of all, the number one method that has revolutionized my approach to treating morning vertigo. The modified Epley maneuver performed in bed. This technique may seem counterintuitive at first, as it involves moving your head in specific positions, exactly the movement that seems to cause vertigo. But here's the incredible part. You're literally relocating those loose crystals in your inner ear back to their correct place. Dr. John Epley developed this technique in the 1980s, and studies show an incredible success rate of 80 to 90% in treating benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. Roberto, 58, an airline pilot who had to take medical leave due to severe vertigo, came to me completely devastated. Doctor, I've lost my career. I can't even get out of bed without the world spinning, let alone fly a plane, he said, almost in tears. After teaching Roberto the modified Epley maneuver to perform in bed every morning, his transformation was remarkable. The technique is surprisingly simple, but needs to be done with precision. Here's the exact protocol. First position upon waking. While still lying down, turn your head 45 degrees to the side where you feel dizziness. If it's worse when you turn right, start on the right. Remain in this position for 30 seconds. Second position, quickly rotate your head 90 degrees to the opposite side. This seems to intensify the dizziness momentarily, but this is a good sign. It means the crystals are moving. Stay for another 30 seconds. Third position, turn your entire body to the side. You're looking at keeping your head in the same position. Wait another 30 seconds. Fourth position, slowly return to sitting, keeping your head slightly tilted forward for 30 seconds. Doctor, the first time I did it, the dizziness got so intense I thought I was going to pass out. But I kept going as you instructed, and on the third day, it was like a miracle. I woke up without any dizziness. Roberto shared, now back to flying. An important warning. This technique may cause intense but temporary dizziness. It's like shaking a snow globe. Things get chaotic for a moment before settling back into place. The key is persistence. Perform this maneuver for 3 consecutive mornings, even if the dizziness seems to worsen initially, for maximum effectiveness after completing the maneuver. Avoid lying completely flat for at least 12 hours and sleep with your head elevated that first night. Don't tilt your head back to look at the ceiling, and avoid bending down to pick things up off the floor on the same day you perform the maneuver. This allows the repositioned crystals to settle firmly in their correct location. Roberto not only returned to flying, but now teaches this technique to other pilots who face similar problems. I got my life back. Doctor, no medication could do what these simple movements did, he told me in our last consultation. It's essential to mention that if vertigo is accompanied by severe symptoms such as double vision, difficulty speaking, or intense weakness in arms or legs, you should immediately seek medical attention, as these may be signs of a more serious condition. I want to emphasize that these methods aren't just theories or experiments. They're proven techniques I use daily in my clinic with consistent results. I remember Lucia, 63, a housewife, who came to my office after canceling a trip to meet her first grandson due to the paralyzing fear of feeling vertigo during the flight. Doctor, I missed the first months of my grandson's life because I can't even turn my head without feeling like I'm going to pass out. I've accepted that this is just part of aging, she said, visibly emotional. This is a belief I need to vehemently debunk. Vertigo is not something natural about aging. It's like a fire alarm going off, unnecessarily a signal that can and should be corrected. After implementing the 5 techniques I shared with you, Lucy had not only visited her grandson, but now travels regularly to see him. Doctor, I got my independence back. It's like I gained 15 years back, she reported at our last consultation. During my 22 years of clinical experience, I've seen truly inspiring transformations in patients who have consistently implemented these techniques. Morning vertigo isn't just a physical problem, it steals your confidence, your independence, and your joy of living fully. When Maria, my 58-year-old patient, a retired teacher, told me, Doctor, I had stopped playing on the floor with my grandchildren for fear of not being able to get up without feeling dizzy. I deeply understood the emotional impact of this problem. Today, Maria not only plays with her grandchildren, but recently started dance classes, something she would never have imagined doing a year ago. The most important thing is to start with small changes and be consistent. Combine the techniques gradually, starting with the one that seems most appropriate for your specific situation. I recommend keeping a simple diary to record your progress. This will not only keep you motivated as you see improvements, but will also help identify which aspects of the techniques work best for you. Remember that your body has an incredible capacity for healing and adaptation, especially when you provide the right conditions. As I always tell my patients, your inner ear is like a labyrinth. Once you learn the right path, you'll never get lost again. Which of these techniques will you implement first? Leave in the comments below your experience with morning vertigo and what strategies you've already tried. I'm particularly curious to know if you've tried any approach similar to the ones I shared today and what the results were. If you have specific questions about how to adapt these techniques for your particular condition, leave your question and I'll try to answer in upcoming videos. If this content brought valuable information to you, please leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more videos on how to naturally treat conditions that many consider inevitable with aging. Share this video with family and friends who may be silently suffering from dizziness upon waking. You could be offering them not just a technical solution, but giving back the confidence and quality of life they deserve. Remember, small, consistent changes can bring surprising results. Your future of balance and confidence starts with the decisions you make today. See you in the next video.